Hey folks, good morning. Good morning, sunshine. This is Waylon Lewis, and I am going to talk today about climate change, which is a challenging thing to talk about because most of us in this world have decided that it's, kind of boring in some way or depressing. And while it is in many ways, I think it's also incredibly personal and incredibly relevant and in some ways really fun and kind of an opportunity. So often people will talk about FDR and World War II and galvanizing a peace-loving country with almost no military. Our military was training with broomsticks in many cases. We had almost no tanks or planes or anything, into changing our economy overnight into something that could handle fighting the Nazis on one front and the Japanese on the other front. And we did it. And we did it together, and it was considered patriotic, and it was considered not fun, but it was a generational movement. It was romantic in the sense of that it was noble. And yet climate change, which we all sort of climate change is almost like the ultimate homework, right? We all know that we have to deal with it, and we're all putting it off. So if any of you have comments or questions about climate change or what you can do in your daily life, maybe everyone here could say where they're from, and also what is one thing you do in a very small, very personal way that you enjoy doing to be environmentally responsible to combat climate change in your way. So this morning I watched a 13-minute video on the front page of New York Times with President Obama being grilled by two reporters on his successes and failures in leading the fight against climate change and his frustrations and successes around that. And I was just really reminded that, here in Colorado, climate change is just as much a Republican concern. When you get out of the state capitol and you go up into the mountains, we've lost millions, literally millions of beautiful trees. And most of the folks up there are more rural and more conservative. And yet they all have, you go to a diner and they have big posters of Yosemite or of our national parks up, and people love America the Beautiful. There's some sort of, once you get out of the noise of Washington and partisan politics and the Tea Party and progressives and everyone fighting, everyone's united in wanting to, just be eco-responsible and have some sense of common sense economy that is based not on exploitation of our national resources, but on using them wisely and creating good domestic jobs. Yeah, Ryan, so people don't need to take me seriously, but thank you for your comment. I think it's kind of a fun hat, and I'm glad you noticed it. And I think it's, we can all have our opinions. And Ryan, that's sort of what I'm talking about today, which is that, we're all Americans, or we're all Canadians, or we're all Europeans, or we're all Mexicans, or we're all Africans. Wherever we are, we're all in this boat together. And we don't have to buy into the mainstream media, Fox, MSNBC, et cetera, kind of dramatizing everything. Jon Stewart, I remember, made fun of this on The Daily Show, where he said, if I interview someone about something, then all the media says, Jon Stewart slams whoever, Jon Stewart tears apart whoever. Climate change in the world is not a sport. I was brought up as a Yankee fan. Half my family is from New York, and Cassio, we don't need to tell him to shut up too. I mean, basically we need to remember that we're all in this together and we're human, and we can be polite, whether we're Ryan or Waylon or Cassia, any of us. So we need to remember how to agree to disagree, basically. And I do appreciate President Obama. I do appreciate that he has, done his best in many ways to. The reason this is purple, Ryan, is because the notion of the purple states, right? Red states, blue states. we're all Americans. And historically, there was a huge moderate middle of America and very few extremists on either end. And I don't really appreciate extreme liberals any more than I appreciate extreme conservatives. There tends to be a lot of hate with extremists or fundamentalists. Yeah, Cassia, I appreciate your concern and watching out for me because I need it. I'm vulnerable up here. So I just want to kind of focus on the problem instead of the hatred and say, look, Ryan, look, Cassia, look, everyone. We can respect President Eisenhower for what he did. We can respect President Nixon for what he did, Clean Air Act. We can respect Teddy Roosevelt for what he did, national parks. We can respect, even Reagan was very moderate by today's conservative standards. We can respect Obama and Clinton. And at the same time, we can criticize all the people we just mentioned for whatever they did incorrectly. Just as we can criticize ourselves, honestly, for whatever we have done that's a mistake or unkind. And we can also be kind and respectful to ourselves for whatever we've tried to do that's a benefit of others. So getting beyond the hate, what is something all of you in here have done to fight climate change or to be eco-responsible or to protect America the Beautiful, however you want to think about it? You know, if you look at wind energy, solar energy, so say that in comments if you've done some little eco tip that we can share. So yeah, if you want to look at climate change from a Republican point of view, let's try this out. So wind energy, solar energy, those are by definition domestic jobs. You can't really transport the energy very well. So Wyoming, which is a conservative state, is one of the great states in terms of wind energy. You know, where there is a ton of energy being produced, guess what else is being produced? Jobs, money, economy. And again, you know, you go to conservative areas like Wyoming, and they're living on the land, they're farming, they're, working with horses, they're working with cattle. They're much more connected to the land than a lot of liberals who might be so-called environmentalists. So we can all get together and kind of, unite around the notion that this planet is something that makes our life possible. We don't have to be tree huggers, although there's many trees around Boulder that I like to give a little pat to from time to time. The big old trees, I love big old trees, and I build a big old tree house. But we don't have to be tree huggers. We can just say, look, we want a strong economy. We want clean air for our children. We want clean air, blue skies, green grass for our grandchildren. We all want to be healthy and safe. FDR called it the four freedoms, and we all, Republican and Democrat, want the four freedoms. So maybe Yoli, you could Google or search four freedoms on Elephant Journal, and I've written about that. So yeah, Yoli, maybe you could put glass straws from our market in the comments. Robin, we wear our clothes till they're threadbare, wear our shoes till they run away, recycle as much as possible, lights off when not needed, walk when possible, don't run water needlessly. So I'd like to point out, Robin, that Robin, all that she just mentioned is fun. It's fun to, like, I'm wearing a vintage cowboy shirt. It's way more fun than some BS shirt made in China. What's eco-responsible, or what's patriotic, or what's Republican, or what's democratic, progressive about going to Target or Walmart and buying some cheap, toxic grown cotton? It's not good for us. The chemical smell on there, that is not good for you. You got to wash it first for it to even be safe to wear. And that's made in China. So if you actually, we can all get together right on the Made in the USA movement. That's one area of agreement. Farmers markets are another. We all want to support our farmers. So there's many areas of agreement that we can find. And I think that's just what I wanted to touch on today. And I realize it's not a very, sexy subject, and that many people here don't really want to hear about it. I fully expect this to be one of our least popular videos. Like yesterday, I think I had, almost 400 people tuning in every second. So it became easily 20,000 people over the video. So I'm trying to block the number here. Facebook puts a big number right on the screen, so it's kind of annoying. Um, so I expect very few people will tune in, but those of you who do tune in, I mean, this is what Elephant Journal is about. We're not just talking about sexy stuff or viral stuff, although both are great if they are connected to mindfulness or helping you live a good life. We're here to talk about important stuff, and as President Obama just said, we have the major obstacle for human nature with climate change is that its effects aren't readily apparent in an urgent way. So, when we're fighting a fire, we mobilize. We get everyone doing different departments, attacking from different areas. Politicians are involved. First aid is involved. Relief is involved. Hospitals are involved. Obviously, the firefighters are leading the fight. The police are involved, keeping the roads safe, and volunteers are involved. It's a group effort, and it's urgent. And while climate change, in terms of the millions of trees that have died in the Rockies, or increased flooding, or hurricanes, expansion of various beetles that are killing trees, there's changing monsoon seasons, acidification of the oceans because they're heating. There's many signs that it's happening. And scientists are united in saying this is real. I'm not even going to go there, unless you want me to. It doesn't seem urgent. It seems like something we can put off till later. It's like the world's homework, and we can procrastinate about it. But for the few of you who are here today, we have about 100 folks per second, so maybe we'll have 10,000 people will watch this. Know that if you can write about our environment, about our economy from a sustainable point of view, about green living, about a green home, about raising your children in a safe, non-toxic way, about body care that isn't toxic, about clothing that is secondhand or made in the US or made in fair labor wherever it's from. Like I have these great towels that are made in Ethiopia in a women's co-op in a sustainable manner. These are issues I personally beg of you to submit to Elephant so that we can share them. And the way you can write on Elephant, if so inspired, is elephantjournal.com/submit. And Yoli, if you could put that in the comments, please write about these issues, and we'll feature them. We have nearly 10 million readers a month. We have, a couple times more, like at least 2 times more fans on Facebook than MSNBC. We have won national awards for Twitter coverage, on Twitter for green coverage. So we are here to be a vehicle for a real change. We're independent. We're not trying to sell out. We're trying to actually be a benefit to you and to our planet and to me, to all of us. So inspired by that interview with Obama on the New York Times today, which I encourage all of you to watch, whether you like him or not, it's kind of irrelevant. If there was a Republican president addressing climate change, I would watch that 13-minute interview. I encourage you to go to nytimes.com and watch that, and write into Elephant. And if you want our very best content, elephantjournal.com/ what did I just say? The newsletter. elephantjournal.com/best is our very best stuff. And finally, I just want to give a shout out. Maybe Yoli, you can put the Sunbasket, the 3 free meals. Any of you who are watching, as a reward, you can go to Sunbasket, which is an eco-minded, sustainably minded, organic food delivery service. You can get 3 free meals, and that's food is another thing that unites Republicans and Democrats. We all like to eat good food that hopefully is good for our children, our grandchildren, and our planet and our farms. So check out Sunbasket. They're a wonderful sponsor for Elephant. We try and seek out sponsors that walk their talk. This video series is called Walk the Talk Show. And if you want to get any of these other videos, go to youtube.com/elephantjournal. So I'm going to look over the comments. Allie recycles everything she can. Ryan thinks my opinion is no longer valid because of this hat. Julie wishes me a good morning, and everyone a good morning from the UK. Robin loves the hat. Alyssa, we recycle. Make sure to turn off the lights. Bike a lot. Compost, Minnesota. Cassia is standing up for me. Danielle, Sebring, Florida. Sending love to everyone. Cassia is sweet. Cordy, Obama and Obama hat supporter here. After my trip to Boulder, we've been thinking of ways as a family to help the kids seem like me seemed to like me picking up trash on our last hike, and it helped spur discussion more than, say, recycling, which we also do. Trying to figure out ways to reduce our waste. Also, go Yankees. So, yeah, I mean, one thing I would say is recycling is okay, but it's really imperfect. Recycling plastic isn't that good. It's far better not to consume plastic at all, not to create plastic. So if we can boycott plastic as much as possible, that's one of the most powerful things we can do. Also, if you're wearing Lululemon or most yoga clothes, they're made out of plastic. Most clothing is now synthetic, made out of plastic. So you're literally breathing and sweating in a toxic, skin. And plastic is made out of petroleum, so they have to add a ton of chemicals to get it to be like a bag or clothing. So really trying to wear natural products, natural cotton, natural linen, denim, what else? Silk, wool. We have a great article, Yoli, on mindful wool, secondhand clothing. If you could put any of our many blogs on that in the comments, that would be great. Yeah, James Hunt, keeping pressure on political and corporate responsibility for environmental protection is important. Jill, love to the Elephant Editors. Oh, you bought the soap nuts. So soap nuts were another one of our sponsors. I've been using them for a couple weeks. So there's nuts that sort of saponify, that clean your clothing without having to use toxic chemicals. So check out those soap nuts. Yoli, if you go into the talk show chat and you search soap nuts, you'll find that link. Let's give them a shout out. All right, love Robin's comment. Danielle hugs a tree. Andrea, Americans consume 5 times more energy than average European countries, 200 times Haitians. We all have to change our lifestyle. So yeah, I met with a lovely friend this morning. We were talking about our environmental impact, and I bike and I eat food with a relatively low carbon footprint. I do a lot of secondhand clothing. I'm vegan. I try and be pretty eco-responsible, but even a couple flights a year, and your carbon footprint is epic. So check out some offsets, like planting trees, or you can offset in your own way. You can say, I'm going to donate to my church for education for youth or the homeless, or you can donate to David Sheldrick Foundation to help orphan baby elephants. You can't think of a cuter cause than that. Or orangutans, or find some sort of meaningful offset in your own life. Volunteering. Alicia, we buy from thrift stores here too. Munaza, hi from Pakistan. Hey, how cool. Jill just turned off her lamp. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, that's the key thing, is like turn off your lights. It's basically just mindfulness. Like my grandma, I remember our grandparents' generation, the greatest generation, right? If we're Republicans, they were thrifty, they didn't waste. And these are commonly now seen as sort of democratic values. Well, they're not. They're universal. We all want to be conservative with our consumption and be responsible, not be wasteful. Danielle, hey, Rhiannon, I used to use about 3 or more disposable straws a day. Yeah, plastic straws. At home for morning coffee, etc. Such a waste when you stop to notice it. Made the switch to one reusable one, but it's plastic. Very interested in glass straws you mentioned. Yeah, Yoli, are the glass straws in the comments? You can also get stainless steel straws, and they're pretty cute. I love them. So I don't actually really use straws that much personally, but for those who love straws, which is most of my friends, these glass or stainless steel straws in the elephant market are great, or you can get them elsewhere. Danielle, I only feed my kids organic. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, so organic shouldn't be a political issue either. The only difference between organic and non-organic is that you're pouring tons of pesticides, which is a fancy word for poison, on the food. You don't really want poison on food for your children or for yourself or for our planet or for farmers. When you see farmers walking around a farm wearing a hazmat suit, when they're spraying, something's off. Farmers, we want to care for our farmers' health as well. Lori, climate change is real. Longer, hotter summers I've ever seen in my lifetime, and shorter, harder winters. Love from Utah's Rocky Mountains. Yeah, we're having the same experience in Colorado. Drier, drier, drier. A farmer friend of mine just moved away to North Carolina because it was getting so dry. Aunt Stu, I love thrifting. All right, folks. Well, that was, we actually had a fair amount of people tune in, which is kind of cool. So check out the soap nuts. Check out the 3 free meals. Get your 3 free meals. If you're in the U.S., I think only that offer is good from sunbasket and watch that video if so inspired. Find something eco you can do every day. Remember that it can be conservative or democratic or progressive. It doesn't really matter. Libertarian, socialist, anyone can care about our own health, about the planet's health, about our children's health, our grandchildren's health. And, let's get inspired. We really need to move on this, and we need to do it yesterday. So I'm pretty inspired. Find something you can do that you enjoy doing. So whether it's eating good meal, a good organic local meal, and sitting down for it, even if you're speedy in a rush, Sunbasket and other services are there for you in that case. And I guess actually we could meditate for 1 minute. Those of you who want to stick around, let's meditate for 1 minute. So take a great posture. And again, meditation is not some hippy-dippy thing. It's really just focusing on being present, which is what you have to do if you're going to hit a baseball, or if you're going to, have a good first date, or, do well at your job. Being present is something, it's just basic. We just need to all know how to be present. So it's kind of easy, but it takes a lot of practice. So take a good posture, upright, like Superman kind of, and then relax. Maybe you could put the Dotun letter by Trungpa Rinpoche in the comments. It's probably the best meditation instruction I know. Find your breath in and out. Thank you all. And place your attention, your mind's attention, on your breath in and out. If you find yourself thinking, the speed of our lives is increasing and increasing and increasing, and that can be bad for us unless we know how to deal with it, and this is how we deal with it. So breathe in, breathe out. If you find yourself distracted, just notice that and return your attention to the breath. That is the practice of meditation. Just notice your thought, I'm thinking, and return your attention to your breath. We can end with a bow of mutual respect. And have a great day. May your day be of benefit. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, check out that meditation link. And thank you, Yoli. We'll see you tomorrow. Check out the Sunbasket offer and soap nuts.